And then the next part, this is where the sauce comes in, man. This next sound is what just really made it go from like a 5 all the way up to a 10. And it was these two sounds right here, man. Alright, so we're going to be trying to improve upon some Future's production. I don't actually think his production's bad in any way. Like, the beats he chooses are normally like just super fire. But there's the odd song here and there where I'm listening to it and I'm like, man, I really wish I could jump on the production for this. So with that being said, here's how I would go about improving Future's production. So the song of choice was actually South of France off of mixtape Flute that dropped last year. To be honest, the production on this beat was kind of fire, but I just thought it was like too kind of chirpy for the lyrics that he put over it. So I was like, man, I just want to go in and see if I can add my own spin to it. Something dark, ethnic-y, but melodic at the same time, but got that hard-hitting, trappy Future drums in there too. So yeah, let's get into it, man. I started off with this VST called Sky Keys. Really good VST for like ambient stuff. If you just want to like make some wavy, atmospheric kind of melodies, then this is perfect. Just sits nicely. It's melodic, but it's kind of bouncy at the same time. No effects needed on this, like literally no processing. There's some processing going on in the VST, you know, there's some vibrato going on, a filter. Nothing too crazy going on with the theory and stuff like that. I just kind of put these bass notes in. We're in E minor, the key of E minor, and we just went from E down to C, up to D, back to E. So yeah, if it was a chord, it would be E minor, C major, D major, back to E minor, and it just kind of loops. Sprinkle this little melody on top. Yeah, nothing too crazy, man. It's kind of simple. Simplicity with these kind of like hard-hitting melodic trap beats is just kind of what you need, man. Next, I just wanted some texture. I just wanted to kind of like fill this out a little bit, so came in with this soft pluck pattern right here. Just gonna give that eerie feel to it. Bit of rhythm as well here. It's kind of like more rhythmic. But this one I just added one effect that gave it just like that crazy rhythm, and it was Shaper Box. I just came in with this plucky pluck preset, tweaked a couple of the settings, and yeah, it actually went from sounding like this and then you put the Shaper Box on. Yeah, it just like totally warps the sound, makes it sound like super crazy, adds some like high-end texture to it, almost makes it sound like a bit of a perk as well, like it's got some like nice transients going on there too. So yeah, it sounded crazy, man. And then the next part, this is where the sauce comes in, man. This next sound is what just really made it go from like a 5 all the way up to a 10, and it was these two sounds right here, man. They're both kind of like the same sound, they're the same type of instrument. We got a flute, like a pan flute, and then just this wandering flute, and these are both out of my Mellotron expansion pack. But you can kind of see already just from looking at it, man, like if you just take a look at these two patterns right here, you got this kind of like call and response thing going on. Just acts like they're kind of almost like just talking to each other in a way. So yeah, I'll just play these by themselves so you can hear what's going on. Same here. A little bit of a different vibe here. Same family of instruments, but just, yeah, different vibes. And the actual key just to making any real good sample really is sound selection first. Like if you've got good source material, if it sounds good out of the box, then 9 times out of 10 the melody's gonna sound better. Because so far there's been like barely any processing on the melody. Even with these flutes, man, I just added reverb to both of them. I think it was the exact same reverb. Yeah, default preset for both of them, exact same preset. And then you play this with everything else that we got so far. On the way to buy a square, we rock a 9. I was in Mexico once upon a time. Just vibing, man. Yeah, with this pan flute, I kind of went crazy with the one shot. I was playing in like a certain pan and it sounded kind of cool, but I just wanted the flute to kind of like bend and just sound kind of weird. So to get that, I just slid the notes instead of just playing them singularly, you know, like so they're just kind of like it's like the best way I could describe it. Yeah, exact same thing here at the end, just sliding the notes away from each other. Yeah, and then yeah, this is what the other flute kind of looked like. Real simple pattern, man. And that's basically it, just repeats. And here's a little bit of source actually for anyone like just trying to make really nice like top melodies and just top lines. If you end the melody either 5 notes up from the root note or 7 notes up from the root note, or even if you just end on the root note, it normally sounds pretty fire. If you want a reliable top melody that's going to sound vibey and it sounds like it's, you know, sounding good, and that's like a little rule I go by. So yeah, just a little bit of source right there if you guys want to mess around with your melodies. And then the last sound that we added in this melody was just some simple brass. I just wanted something at the end of each bar just to kind of almost act as like a transition. Just the pattern, man. Like so simple, but this is what it sounded like. And it just kind of goes the opposite way at the end. Yeah, sounds crazy, man. The preset I used in this was the Perfect Trumpet. Again, this is out of the Mellotron expansion pack. But yeah, man, it's crazy basic. Like, the only purpose of this sound is just to act as like a transition. Kind of had that in my head. I just wanted like a sound to bring us through at the end of each 4 bars. It's good to add in most beats, just add in little sounds at the end, just ear candy here and there. And that makes up the whole melody, man. Bring everything back in, and it sounds like this now.
Post on Front Street, start serving dimes. On way to buy a square, we rock a 9.
Everything's just kind of bouncing off each other, man. Sounds sick. Yeah. And then it was time for the best part, man. Time for the drums. Just before we get to these drums, if you're watching this and you're a music producer who really is just trying to like level up in production, you know, whether it be in the actual beat making side of it, the mixing, the mastering of it, then I do offer one-to-one mentorship where we can work one-to-one, and I can just help you with basically any goal that you're trying to work towards as a producer. So if you're interested in that, then hit the first link in the description, answer a couple questions, and then I'll reach out to you. But yeah, let's get back into this beat. So yeah, with the drums, man, I just started off with this basic snare. Just a little extra hit at the end. Then we came in with this hi-hat pattern, just real simple pattern to begin with. I think I just kind of like played this section in live, and then I just added these little kind of like hi-hat rolls above it and below it. Just kind of repeats, I think. Yeah, exactly the same. These low notes are cool. These lower ones almost just sound like perks, so I'm kind of like just taking care of like 2 jobs in one with this. And then next, to add even more bounce, we just came in with a secondary hi-hat. If you just want like a little bit extra rhythm and like one hi-hat's not doing it for you, just bring another one in, man. There's no rules to this. Just keep going. Just super simple, but it just adds a little bit extra to the hi-hat. Yeah, it's more like an acoustic hi-hat. And then just play with the velocities down here at the bottom. Vibes. Next up, we just added this clap. Again, just almost using it as a perk, just like transition sounds, really. I can barely even hear it, it's just there, man. Alright, I'm not gonna hold you guys back any longer, man. We came with the 808 next. This is where the beef comes from, man. Yeah, so we got this like real basic spins 808, and I feel like honestly, if you want more impact from your 808s, keep the patterns as simple as possible, man. No need to go like crazy with these like crazy top lines. Just those simple patterns are the ones where you can like bop your head to. Yeah, this is what we got with this.
Southern friends is drinking mud, nigga. No matter how rich I get, I still feel like a hood, nigga. Come on, caught back for the
Simplicity. That's the key, man. But then what you can do if you do want to spice up your 808s is just add a second 808. Like normally I'll do this if I just want to add some more uniqueness to the low end. A lot more tracks are doing this these days, especially in the UK. You got guys like Cairo Keys with like these crazy like new jazz kind of beats with like 3 or 4 different 808s and basses hitting. Honestly, man, it just adds crazy energy. So I brought this 808 in. Yeah, I think this one's out of the 808 Kingdom kit. And then I also brought in this other 808 as well, just to kind of play it at a different time. Just more of a softer, more of a subtle one. Bring all 3 of those in, man, and just notice how they just kind of like bounce off each other nicely.
Southern friends is drinking mud, nigga. No matter how rich I get, I still feel like a hood.
You know what I mean? Exact same pan. But yeah, looking at the pattern, it's actually kind of cool. I did this cool trick right here, like this. This is like some sauce where basically you can kind of make the 808 sound like it's reversing into itself by just doing this. So all you got to do is just add your note in, just duplicate it, double click one of them, and then just turn one of them to so it slides, and then bring the sliding note either up an octave or even just down an octave. Like you can try both, and then just turn the velocity up on the sliding note, but not the one that isn't sliding. Yeah, sounds crazy, man. Sounds crazy. And then for the rest of this drums, I didn't add too much, man. Just another snare, bounce off the original snare. Almost just like acts as a layer. Gives the initial snare a bit more bounce, a bit more punch. And here's actually a bit of sauce too. Like if you want to make your main drums, like your main snare and clap, sound like a bit more alive, the answer to that, normally what I found, is just stacking up those main sounds. Like stacked up the hi-hat in this beat, and I've done the exact same thing with the snare. Just stacked it on top of the original snare, sometimes, but not all the time. It just adds a little bit more depth. Stacked up on its own. Just before, a bit more bounce. So yeah, they just kind of bounce off each other. Again, it's almost kind of like that call and response kind of thing, you know. So yeah, bring everything in so far. The 808's booming, the melody. And then after that, we just got these open hats, just adding that like sparkle in the top end. We got this simple one on the one, just hitting every bar. Got this other one right here, just hitting before the clap. And then we got this other one right here. And then the last thing just gives it more of like an alien-y vibe is this little perk right here, this Evo perk. Almost sounds like a transition kind of sound. I just thought it sounded cool right here. Kind of almost sounds like an open hat too, really. And then that's it, man. We got some risers. And that's it.
I started off in these streets, young niggas dying.
That's a full beat, man.
I seen a nigga get exposed to contour. You catch a nigga off guard, you better run through him.
Those vocals back up. Hit me with this bass.
New level of life from a whole nother perspective.
All I'm doing is right here is just following the root note. There's the melody. A little bit of a slide up here. Just using the bass one shot from 808 Kingdom Key, I think. Back to it, man. South of France is drinking mud, nigga. No matter how far you go, you still gon' find a hood, nigga. Now, if you're a producer and you kind of get stuck in that horrible loop where you're just overthinking things all the time, you just kind of struggle to finish tracks, struggle to finish beats, then definitely check out this video right here. I get into the whole overthinking spiel, show you guys some really like easy ways to get around overthinking, help you finish up some tracks, help you finish up your beats. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Peace.